Greetings LEGO and D&D nerds, my name is Ian and welcome to another episode of Brick Bestiary, the show where I show you how to build D&D creatures out of LEGO bricks. It is finally January, which means all of the new LEGO releases for this year just dropped, and there's a whole bunch that I am very excited about, but today we're going to be talking specifically about the new Collectible Minifig Series 28, which is an entire series featuring animal mascots. Now, ever since this series was announced, there's been a lot of discourse about it in LEGO spaces. I will admit it's definitely not my favorite. The animal mascot is generally one of the figures in a regular CMF series that I'm not too fussed about finding because I don't have a lot of use for these usually. I don't collect them, I don't need them necessarily. So when we found out that there was going to be an entire series devoted to it, that kind of made a lot of people upset, especially considering that our last two series have been Into the Spider-Verse, which was cool as a superhero fan, but not really all that versatile for things like fantasy and D&D, and the one before that, which was Formula 1, which I guess maybe some people cared about, but I personally didn't bother collecting a single one of those. And so we're continuing that streak with yet another hyper-specific series, which has had a lot of negative reactions. But I'm here today to try to put a more positive spin on these new collectible minifigs, because while they may not seem like they're the most useful, I actually think that a lot of these figures could be quite helpful for making some custom D&D characters. So let's start by going over all of the figures that I have already picked up, and then I will show you how I customized them to fit into a D&D campaign.
Here are the 10 figures from the series that I have picked up. You'll notice that I am missing the dolphin and the koala, not because I couldn't find them, but because I had absolutely no idea what to do with those two figures. So I decided to save myself the 10 bucks and instead buy this cool little Ninjago mech with dragon wings, which I'm really excited about. I found these all using the Minifig scanner app, which has only been wrong once the entire time I've been using it, so it's very handy to have. But while I was looking for these, I was reminiscing with a kid at the LEGO store about how we both missed having the blind bags that you could feel around for, because it kind of made it a fun test of skill. But anyway, let's go over what we have included with these 10 figures. Starting off here, we have this guy in a frog suit. He has some dual molded lime and green legs with printed arms. Of course, the frog headpiece, a double-sided head. This side is blowing a bubble, and this side is just a smile. He's got a printed can of bubble soap and this cool new rounded bubble stud that's got this kind of pearlescent sheen to it that's very cool. Next, we have the cat, who has a ball of yarn, a cat tail, and her double printed head has eyes closed on the back. The Dalmatian comes with a frisbee piece, a dog tail, printed legs and arms with spots on them. His head has a tongue sticking out on one side and just a kind of confident smile on the other. And then we have our little bunny, which comes with an Easter egg and a basket. And here is the back print on this head, as well as medium legs in tan, which is always nice to get these in more colors. And then we have the crocodile, which comes with a rubber duck and a life preserver. This crocodile head and tail is one piece. The back print on the head is a sort of wink, and then of course we have leg and torso printing to go along with it. And then we have this macaw, which also has dual molded legs with red and sand blue, which is an interesting color combination. And she has these minifig arm wings instead of regular arms, plus these two fabric tail elements, which are really interesting. They layer to create the macaw's feather pattern, but I think I can make very good use of these. And of course her head is double-sided. Here is the back print on that, and she comes with this cute box of birdseed, which I don't think we'll be using for any D&D characters, but is kind of fun to have. Next up, we have the goldfish, who comes with a can of fish food. Once again, it doesn't have standard minifig arms, but this time has these flipper pieces, although another set of the medium legs, and this time in this dark yellow color with some gold printing, which is kind of cool. The fish head is like the crocodile, a tail and head piece combined, and the front and back print on the face is just sort of a childlike smile with rosy cheeks. Then we have the lion. This guy is pretty cool. He is also in this dark yellow color, which I quite like. Comes with a chicken leg and this cool flexible lion tail element, and his face print is very cool. The back print is sort of this yelling, roaring face, which I like a lot. Here we have the peacock, which also has the feathered arm pieces, as well as a peacock feather fan, which is, I believe, the same piece as the turkey fan from the turkey mascot, but this one's printed with peacock eyes. More dual molded legs, this time in yellow and this teal color, which is another very interesting combination. And he comes with a little sunflower. I have to fully turn his head around to see the other print, but it is this sort of very wide smile. And finally, we have the monkey, who is sticking out his tongue on one side and has a band-aid on the other side. He comes with a banana and a monkey tail. And as I mentioned, I skipped the dolphin and the koala because I didn't really have any ideas for how to customize them, although the koala could potentially be useful just for these medium legs in light gray. So now that we've seen all of these figures, how am I going to customize these to fit into a D&D campaign? And the secret to how I'm going to make these guys usable is a plain red head. I have a few of these, and I also have some other variants that I will make use of because I do not have enough for all of the figures. But if I swap out the standard minifig head for a plain red one and put the mask back on, it kind of gives the impression that this is now just an anthropomorphic animal with an open mouth. It's a little cartoonish, but it's what we have to work with. And there are a lot of anthropomorphic animal species in D&D, which can be hard to make custom characters of without Chima pieces. The Chima theme was great for that, but it has been retired for years and years. The parts don't go for crazy expensive on the secondhand market, but you have to go through all the trouble of ordering them, and it can be very difficult to army build. So with these guys currently on shelves for the foreseeable future, this could offer a good alternative. Now for some character customization here, we will be starting with this cat, which obviously makes the most sense as a tabaxi. I'll take this Ninjago pants and torso, and I will sandwich the cat tail in between them, and I will steal the cat's white hands here, and then I will add that red head and the cat mask and pop her back onto the minifig stand here. I'm going for sort of a tabaxi cleric vibe with this figure, so I'm going to take this staff with a stud and bar in the top and give that to her. And then I will take one of the bubble studs that came with the frog. Two of them actually come with that set because one of them is a spare, and I will attach it onto the top because it makes a very pretty moonstone or some sort of magical gem. And now this cat mascot is a tabaxi cleric. Next, I'm going to look at the frog man. We're going to steal his arms for this build, and we're going to attach them onto a torso in sand green here. It's just kind of a basic peasant torso with some short legs, and we're going to turn this guy into a grung, which is one of the frog people species. There is another one called bullywugs, which are like the monster variant, but grungs are playable. I'm not really sure why we have two distinct frog people species, but this guy will work for either. We're going to give him the D&D CMF Druid's cape because it's a nice shape and nice and short. And then we're going to mix things up. Instead of a head, I'm going to give him one of these 2/3 height D-stud pieces in red. I'm just going to attach that where the head would go, and then I will place the mask over top of it. It's not going to snap onto the top, it will remain loose, but I can't put another stud in here or it will actually sit too high for this stud to poke out through the mouth, where I'm going to take this longhorn piece in red to make a frog tongue. But once I attach the tongue, it's not going to matter that this isn't attached because it can't physically come off. It's a little loose, but there's no way that it can fall off because the tongue is holding it into place. Next, I'm going to make a little druid staff here. I have a bar with one of these modified lightsaber hilts on the bottom and this triangle piece on top, and I've added a flower here. I'm just going to take the bubble stud off of his bubble wand and attach it right in the center as another enchanted moonstone. And then I'm going to take this whip piece and insert it into the open stud here, and then I'm going to wrap it around the base and put the tip into the side stud here. I'll twist it one more turn to make it a little tighter, like a vine curling around the staff. And now we've turned this frog man into a grung druid. Next up, we're going to look at the Dalmatian. Now, weirdly, there is no anthropomorphic dog species in canon D&D. There's like several homebrew dog people races, but there isn't an official one, which is weird because there is like literally everything else. There's cats, elephants, hippos, lions, birds, everything you can think of except dogs, apparently. So you might be wondering what exactly I'm going to do with this guy, and the answer is I'm just going to make him into a dog person paladin anyway. I'm going to take his tail off and place it on some night legs with a silver torso and the dragonborn paladin's heavy armor. Now, even though this species doesn't exist in canon D&D, I'm making this character because what it reminds me of is a kobold. And not a kobold like we see in D&D, but a kobold as they are depicted in a lot of Japanese media. This is a rabbit hole that I dove down a while back because for some reason, Japan treats kobolds as dog people, whereas D&D and Western media treats them as little tiny dragon people. There's some kind of interesting history as to why, but that's why you will see kobolds kobolds in a lot of Japanese media, like the anime Delicious in Dungeon, are portrayed as dogmen. And so that's what inspired this guy here. I made him a paladin because he is of course very, very loyal and a very good boy. I will go ahead and reattach him onto his base here. This is maybe not a character that everyone will have use for in their D&D campaign, but I think he's cool and could certainly come in handy for some of you. Up next, let's do the rabbit. The D&D rabbit species is called the Harengon, and we will give him this Viking torso with these brown and medium nougat legs. I'm going for tan arms to match the rabbit here, and I'm going to give him this backpack. This is Heward's handy haversack that I built last month during my D&D advent calendar. If you missed it, I will link it up in the cards. I'm kind of going for a wandering merchant vibe with this Harengon, and I think this adds nicely to that aesthetic. For the head, instead of red this time, I'm going to be using pink. This is the head from the CMF Harpy that released a few series ago, and the back is completely blank, so I'm going to put the face backwards so that we have a blank side facing out, and then I will add the rabbit mask to complete my Harengon. I actually really like the way this pink looks. I think it's slightly better than red for the inside of the mouth, and if I had more of these harpies, I would have used it more often, but I only have the one. I'll just give him a poleaxe here to double as a walking stick and a weapon, and pop him back on his base plate, and here is our little Harengon merchant. Up next, we're going to take a look at the crocodile. This guy may be one of the most useful in a lot of situations because I think that it will make a very good lizard folk, and lizard folk are a creature that I could see being easily army built for an encounter. Honestly, if you just replace the head, the body works as is, but for a little extra detail, I'm going to be replacing the torso with this new Ninjago torso that came in another cheap set that I got the same day. I'm going to give him some shoulder armor, and I'm going to use this translucent red skull piece that came with Zastam in the D&D CMF series. I'm just going to point the face towards the back and then attach the crocodile head and turn him into a little more sinister looking lizard folk. In the absence of some of the Chima crocodile parts, this is an excellent option for building a large amount of lizard folk warriors if you're planning an encounter with your party. Up next, let's take a look at the monkey guy. Now, the D&D anthropomorphic monkey people are called the Hadozi. They come, if I'm not mistaken, from Spelljammer, and honestly, their art kind of freaks me out a little bit. They have these like sugar glider wings that's just a flap of skin that connects from their wrist to their ankle, and I just hate that so much. It's so weird, it grosses me out. I'm not a huge fan of these guys, but we are going to build one regardless, and because it's kind of a Spelljammer creature, we're going to make him a pirate. I'm going to take these dual molded legs from a previous pirate CMF. I will add the monkey tail and this pirate torso with a red head. I'm going to be giving him one of these bat wing arms to kind of show that weird gross skin flap wing that they have, but the other arm I'm going to take from the monkey man torso, and then I will take the other medium nougat hand and replace it here so that they match and give him his monkey mask. And then I'm going to go ahead and give this guy 3 swords. I'll put one in each hand and also one in his tail, which will grip onto a pirate sword, and I think that gives him a pretty fun look as sort of a Hadozi swashbuckler rogue who fights with 3 swords. I don't have any of the Spelljammer source books. I'm actually not 100% sure that Hadozi canonically have tails, if they're more ape or more monkey, but I think this makes this guy a lot of fun, so I just decided to go with it, and obviously it's easy to not include. Now let's take a look at the peacock. The most obvious answer here is of course going to be an Aarakocra, which are the D&D bird people species. They're typically hawks or eagles, but they don't have to be. They can kind of be any bird that you want, although owlin are for some reason a completely separate, only owls bird people species that were introduced in Strixhaven. But either way, I think we're going to go ahead and make a very courtly peacock Aarakocran aristocrat. I'm going to take this torso and dress from Minerva McGonagall because the green and blue will match very nicely with the peacock. And then I'm going to take this spotted fabric piece that came in the Disney CMF with Prince John from Robin Hood, and instead of putting it around the neck like a collar, I'm going to put it around the waist like this. Then I will add the peacock wing fan and then torso. Then I'm going to take the Dalmatian's arms and add them on here, but I'm going to be replacing the black hands, so I will go ahead and remove those. And I'm going to take this solid blue head and place it here because the Aarakocra should not have a wide open mouth because her mouth is just this beak. So I've gone with blue to just match the rest of the head and kind of make this hole a little more invisible. Now all that's left to do are add some hands here, but I'm going to be doing a little trick with these gold leaves to give her some sort of flowy gold sleeves. I'm going to slot the open stud over the hand before I insert it, which will pin the leaf in between the arm and the hand. This isn't the most secure connection and the hands do tend to fall off just like that, but it's a cool little extra detail that you can add. You can do this with chains if you want somebody to be manacled, or regular open studs, or leaves like this. But I think the gold leaves here add a nice elegant touch to this peacock Aarakocra aristocrat. Now let's look at the lion man. Now of course there is an anthropomorphic lion species, the Leonid, like Teor Pridesire in the new Critical Role campaign, and you could easily make this guy into one of them using the same technique that I've been doing, but I'm actually going to take a slightly different route with this guy. I'm going to make a normal human barbarian who is wearing a lion pelt. I'm going to take this old Viking torso and these gladiator legs, and then I'm going to grab the macaw, and I'm going to steal her two tail pieces here, and I'm going to use the red one not as a tail piece, but as a shoulder cape. I'm just going to put one piece over one shoulder like this, and then I will add the growling face from the lion minifig. I'll position this shoulder cape over the shoulder like this, and then I'm going to fold it back and kind of press this part down here while I put on the mask. The back of the mask will pinch that into place and hold it here over the shoulder. And now we have a barbarian wearing the head of a lion like Hercules and the Nemean lion skin. Up next, we're going to take a look at the goldfish, and this customization might possibly be my favorite. I don't need any of this part, but I'm going to be using the fish head to make a Kuatoa. For the body, I'm going to use this Chima body with some chains and green and just sort of giving armor cobbled together from the bottom of the sea, and I've paired it with these mummy legs with this blue skirt printing. I'm going to add the dark yellow arms from the lion, since we're not using his torso, but I'm going to give them gold hands to match the gold scales on the side of the fish head here. Then I'm going to take the other macaw tail piece and I'm going to do the same thing again, putting one hole over the shoulder, and then I'll be using this translucent red head where the face is just an open mouth of teeth. This is from an old Atlantis set, and it will line up super nicely with this fish head when I put it on. I'm going to pinch down the back of this cape piece again, and then I will add my fish head. It will pinch that shoulder cape into place, and as you can see, the mouth is now full of sharp teeth. I absolutely love this look. I don't think it made a lot of sense for any of the other creatures to have a mouth full of wicked fangs like this, except for maybe the lizard folk, but the crocodile's teeth are already built into the head. But for this guy here, it goes a long way in making him a little bit scarier from the sort of derpy looking fish head. I'm going to give him this custom weapon with a harpoon, a white lightsaber handle, and this Ninjago bone sword, and that is my Kuatoa warrior. I really like this guy, probably just because I really like Kuatoa, and while in most of the official art they're depicted as like purple or cool colors, there's no particular reason they can't be goldfish colored, and I think this is probably the easiest way that you could army build Kuatoa for an encounter. And finally, that brings us to the macaw. Of course, you could easily make another Aarakocra with this figure. A plain red head would fill in this gap just like I did with the blue one and the peacock. You may remember back in the fall I made this brick-built Griffin, and what I have here is most of that Griffin, except that I have color swapped all of the brown for red and stopped building at this point where I would attach the head. What I'm going to do instead of the Griffin head that I built before is I'm going to take this 1x2 plate, add a half round tile like this, and one of these rounded jumper tiles here, and I will place that onto the snot stud opening here in the Griffin's torso. Then I'm going to take this Ninjago Dragon Man head, which is red, and the back print has these sort of scales on it, which also kind of look like feathers when I have that side facing out in the open part of the macaw's head. I'm going to attach this head onto that jumper stud here on the Griffin's body, and then for the wings I made the Scarlet Macaw pattern with this yellow wedge, these blue large leaf pieces here, and then a little red on top for some detailing. Nothing's really hidden here. You can see all the pieces that I've used, and I'll just attach them to the sides of the Griffin here and right here. I was a little unsure about this as I was putting this guy together, but once the wings go on, man am I happy with how this turned out. I love Scarlet Macaws, and I love Griffins that are unconventional bird and cat pairings. I'm very happy with how this Macaw Griffin came out, and since my Griffin model is rideable with these studs on the back, I wanted to go ahead and use the minifig head to make a Griffin rider. So I'm going to grab this legs and torso combo from the Red Dragon's Tail set, and I'm going to layer on the blue cape that it came with, followed by a yellow half cape, and then this dark red short cape that's meant to point up and was part of Zaz Tam's cape in the D&D CMF, but I'm going to point it down as just a very, very short cape here, and then I will add the Macaw lady's head and one of these silver helmets, and now her cape pattern, though it is a little bit darker, matches the pattern of a Scarlet Macaw's wings. And so for our final figure here, we have a Scarlet Macaw Griffin rider and her Griffin. So that is customization for all of the main figures, but I have a whole bunch of leftover pieces that I didn't use. So I want to try to use a few of the scrap pieces in some other custom minifigs just to see what I can do with them. And since I'm holding it, let's go ahead and start here with the cat's torso. The sort of tuft of fur here is kind of reminding me of maybe a fur coat or wrap, and so I'm going to make a fur-clad Viking figure. I'm going to swap out these arms for these dual molded white and yellow ones. I'll add these dual molded white and dark blue legs that also kind of have a furry look to them. Then I'm going to take this claw and fur looking shoulder armor because it has this sort of emblem on the front here, which is going to perfectly cover over the cat's heart collar once I add it to the figure. We'll give him a blue cape and this old raging Viking face with a Viking helmet and a spear. Overall, not a terrible look for a Viking, especially one who's maybe slayed a Yeti or something and is flaunting his victory by wearing the creature's pelt. Now we have this lion tail, which I didn't use for our barbarian because he was a human and didn't need a tail, but the color reminded me of this head that I had in the same dark orange from a Dreams set. And I decided that I wanted to make a dark yellow tiefling character. So I'm using this torso from the Red Dragon's Tail wizard with that Dreams head and some tiefling horns. And then since I'm using this lion tail with a tuft of fur at the end, I decided to lean into some of the more out there tiefling aesthetic options, including cloven hooves. So I'm giving him these blue satyr legs from the CMF Harpy, which match the torso nicely. And then I will go ahead and add the dark red hands from the lion. And this character kind of looks like a bard to me, so I'm going to go ahead and give him a lute and pop him onto a minifig stand. The Haragon's medium legs are always nice to have for dwarves and halflings, especially if you're having both of them together, because then you can use medium legs for the dwarves and the short legs for the halflings, so that you get a true stair-step effect of height. I'm going to go ahead and just make a very standard dwarf with these guys. I'm going to give him a Viking torso, a short green cape with a gray beard, and we'll go ahead and throw in the face from the Frogman, so you get a hint of those reddened cheeks at the top. I'll give him this old Lord of the Rings dwarf helmet, and he's looking pretty good. And I can do a very similar thing with the dark yellow legs that came with the goldfish. I'm going to pair them with this Ninjago torso in dark yellow. I'll use the face from the Catwoman, as well as this hair with a headband from Monkey Kid to make this halfling monk. And finally, we have the leftover torso from the crocodile. I'm going to go ahead and add some pants to this one. I'm just using these Tasha legs, and then I'm going to give him some shoulder armor and this bright green minifig sized Hulk head with a silver helmet. And then I'll make him into a shirtless orc warrior here, where we're using the crocodile's underbelly as some sort of abs. He does look a little bit more cartoonish, but I kind of like that it is similar in style to the way the orcs are portrayed in the Mighty Nine animated show. A lot of them have two-tone coloration on their stomach, which threw me off a little bit at first, but it's an interesting take, and I kind of like it, so I thought I would give it a shot with this guy here.
And so there we have it. I have turned 10 of the new CMF figures into 15 custom D&D characters or NPCs, plus a whole exotic Griffin. So while I agree that this CMF series was probably not my first pick of one to get an entire dedicated series, I have done my best here to make some lemonade out of Lego lemons. And truly, I think there are are some really good options here for some of the player species and more humanoid animals that are very difficult to build in Lego form, especially things like the frog for grungs or bullywugs, the goldfish for the kuatoa, and the crocodile for lizardfolk. So that is all I have for you today. Be sure to let me know in the comments down below how you think these guys turned out, and if I've changed your mind about whether or not you are going to pick some of these up for your own D&D campaign. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. And as we're going into this new year, I'm going to need lots of new build ideas, so be sure to let me know in the comments down below what creatures you'd like to see me build next.